What's up, everybody? Once again, my name is Matt, and welcome back to the Let's Play The Legend of Zelda. In the last episode, we've finished the level 4 temple, among other things, and in this episode, well, we're gonna make our way to the level 5 temple, right after we get some upgrades and some cash, because I would like to buy a few things that cost a total of 180 rupees, and given that we have like 39, yeah, we got some work to do. Thankfully, there is a secret nearby that will give us 100 rupees, but even with that, we might still need to grind a bit just to make up the difference, so yeah, that should be fun. Again, this is why I keep saying that rupees are so important in this game, because you need a lot of them just to buy all these items and upgrades, so if you're trying to 100% this game, don't be spending your hard-earned money on potions and such. That's sort of why, like, I haven't made a huge deal to go and get the arrow, since, using the bow does cost money, and at this point, I've been basically using every single rupee just to buy stuff. Alright, so let's burn down this particular bush, and ta-da, there's your secret. So inside, we can take 100 rupees from this nice little moblin. He's not gonna stop us. There we go. Now that we got that, I want to go all the way to the other side of the map and get that heart container that we saw in the last episode, so I'll see you guys once I get over there. Okay, so we are just about here, and there she is, guys, the final heart container in the overworld. After we get this, all we need to do is worry about the temples, because that's where the remaining heart containers will come from. And actually, I think that's also where the rest of our items will come from too. There are a few more things in the overworld, one of which we can get right now, so let's go in this shop and finally buy the arrow so we can actually use the bow that we got in the very first episode of this project. Yeah, it took us that long to get it, but I figured we should get it now since, it will be helpful in the next temple, but I probably won't use it that much, if at all, since, like I said, I'm still trying to save up rupees for the next big thing that I want to buy, which, believe it or not, is actually inside the next temple. Yeah, I know, it's kind of weird. As far as other items go, though, I believe there's only 2 more things in the overworld, and both of those I can actually pick up right now on my way to the next temple, so that's precisely what I'm going to do. While we're going, though, I'm just going to try and take out, like, as many enemies as I can, because I need those rupees. And I honestly cannot trust this game to give me what I need inside the temple, even though, like, we only need a few more rupees. It might not seem like that big of a deal, but given that, like, drops are all sort of based on RNG, it kind of is. I might actually go and grind up before the next temple if we don't get enough rupees before going inside, because I really do not want to leave this up to chance. And we only need, like, 15 more rupees, so come on, game, just be nice to me this one time. Give me what I need, although you have been nice to me for the most part in this game with drops, so hopefully we can keep that up and actually get the rupees that we need without, like, any extra grinding. It's pretty crazy, though. Like, I know this game is short and all, but after we get these items, we probably won't be spending a whole lot of time out here in the overworld, since we should just be able to go from, like, temple to temple and collect the rest of the Triforce and the items, and soon enough, we'll be at Ganon's lair. I mean, the temples do get a little trickier from here on out and a little bit longer, but it still just, like, blows my mind how this game took me so long to beat as a kid, and now I'm probably going to beat it in, like, a little over an hour. The weird thing is, like, I did not grow up with this game at all. Like, I was a 16-bit era kid, so I grew up with the Super Nintendo and the Genesis. Like, I really don't remember the first time I even played this game or when I even beat it, so it must have been when I was a little bit older, because, fun fact, there is no save function in this game on the original NES version. And that brings up another point, because some people have been asking me what I've been playing this on, and a few of you guys were smart enough to realize that yes, I am playing this on an emulator. Now, before I say anything else, I want to say that I normally try to record stuff on the original hardware, or, like, play it on the virtual console if it's an older game. However, emulators on older games at least, provide much higher quality results like this because the emulator is actually scaling the game up to 4 times its normal resolution and applying some post-processing effects to smooth out the pixels and add some anti-aliasing to make things look a little bit nicer. And those are like the main reasons why I chose to emulate as opposed to playing this on the virtual console. Again, I always recommend supporting the official release, but for this instance, I just kinda wanted to have like the best video quality. Not only that, but using an emulator allows me the ability to use save states, which is basically how I've been saving the game since the start of this LP. So like, after every single episode, I would just make a quick save state, so if I need to, I can quit the game and come back to it without losing like any of my progress, or like if a recording fails for some odd reason, I can always go back and re-record it without too much of a problem and without losing too much time. Anyways, now that we got the magic sword and the power bracelet, let's make our way towards the next temple. And thank goodness for those old man shortcuts because that saved us so much time. Like, look where we are on the main map. Now, we are still down 11 rupees. To get to the next temple, we just got to go up from here. But you know what? I'm going to go and grind for those 11 rupees, and then I'll meet you back at that area where I just was so we can go to the next temple. Alright, so I'm finally back. Now in this area, it's kind of like a Lost Woods-esque area, except the solution is to just go up 4 times in a row. Yeah, I'm not kidding. Once we do that though, we will be right at the entrance to the next temple. So without further ado, let's go inside and get this done, shall we? Now, this temple has some cool, like, backstory to it just because of the inclusion of one particular enemy, and it's these guys. So these guys are called Pole's Voices, and a Pole's Voice can be killed in one hit with your bow and arrow, or by hitting them several times with your sword in the American version. So not all that interesting, right? Well, on the Japanese version of this game, there's a much easier way to deal with them. See, the Japanese version of the NES, which is called the Famicom for short, had a microphone in the Player 2 controller. And if the console detected that someone was making a loud enough noise in that microphone, it would instantly kill all the Pole's voices on screen. Pretty cool. Sadly, this was not included in the US version since obviously the NES didn't have a microphone. But in future releases of this game, Nintendo did sort of make like a workaround, so on some versions, you could press like select 4 times in a row, and that would sort of like mimic a microphone, or I think on like the virtual console releases, you can rotate like the C-stick, and that'll do sort of like the same thing. So it's cool to see like Nintendo find solutions for that in like later versions of this game, but since I am like playing this on the NES emulator, if you will, there's no way to sort of like kill them instantly, so I either have to use my sword or just use my arrows, which obviously don't really want to do since I'm trying to save my rupees. Anyways, can you like face towards me? There we go. Come on, dude. Eat those bombs up. You know you love them. Alright. Now that those guys are done, let's head up here because, well, I want to get myself the map for this temple, which is really important since like this temple is sort of divided into 2 separate sections connected by a secret path. And you'll see what I mean in a second, but while we're going through here, I did remember another high school story that I kinda want to share with you guys. So, this was probably in my junior year, I want to say, of high school, and it does involve that really annoying, crazy vice principal that I talked about in my other stories. But basically, one of my entire classes was in the General Assembly Hall for some reason. I honestly don't remember why. It was for nothing important though, because I know for one, it was at like the end of the school day, and 2, I was just like not even paying attention at all, which is sort of what led to me getting in trouble here. But at the same time, nothing important was going on. Anyways though, I did have some bubble wrap with me. Now, I'm not sure where I got it from. Like, it must have been in my backpack. Maybe I was carrying something from home that I didn't want to get broken, now that I think about it, but I honestly really don't know. And I don't know about you guys, but when you're bored and you have bubble wrap, there's really only one solution to that problem, and that's to pop all the bubbles on the bubble wrap. So I'm sitting there completely spaced out, by the way, just popping this bubble wrap, when all of a sudden, the vice principal just like gets right up in my face and yells my name, and I'm like, what? Like total genuine confusion as to what was going on. He was clearly mad at me for something, but I didn't know what. And he instantly takes out his little like nerd pad and starts writing me up for apparently not listening to a teacher. So I asked like one of my friends, and according to them, there was a teacher like standing across the way from us who told me to stop popping the bubble wrap, but I didn't hear her because one, we're in this huge assembly hall and she was on like the other side while I was like in the middle, and two, it was already loud enough from like all the other people talking, and three, I was entirely spaced out, you know, just focused on like popping that bubble wrap. So it was like legit the end of the school day. So he hands me the demerit slip or whatever, and I have no idea what came over me at this point because it's completely out of character for myself, but I just like stood up and I looked at the slip and I handed it back to him and I said, the bell rang like 5 minutes ago, school is over, I don't need to listen to you anymore. He looked at me and said, you really want to do this? And I just said, oh yeah, and I turned around and left, like completely deadpan, just left. All the other kids were like, ooh, and the vice principal just like stared at me. He did not even say a word. I never looked back. I left for the day, and like, as soon as I got home, I was like, crap, that really just happened. I'm gonna be screwed tomorrow when I go in. So I get to school the next day, like expecting to immediately get called into the vice principal's office or the principal's office or whatever. But surprisingly, no one called me down, and no one mentioned it for the rest of the school year. Like, I got off scot-free. I was like, what the heck? Why did I not know to do this, like, earlier on in my high school? It would have made getting in trouble, like, so much easier to avoid, because apparently they were just so flabbergasted that I literally just said no and walked away. They had no idea what to do, and I just, like, got away with it. I was like, wow, I cannot believe that actually worked. But, yeah, it's one of my favorite high school stories because during that moment of just, like, walking away, I totally felt like a boss. But as soon as, like, I got home, I realized, like, oh, crap, I'm probably gonna get, like, suspended or something tomorrow. But thankfully, I went into school, and, no one said a single thing. So, yeah, I got away with it scot-free, which is good because I think at that point, I was, like, really, really close to getting suspended, like, anyways, because how our school, like, sort of handled that was, if you got, like, a certain amount of demerits, you would get suspended eventually, and I was very, very close to that point, like, several times during the school year. Like, I think at one point I was 5 demerits away from getting suspended, which, by the way, that means that I had to serve, like, several detentions. I never served a single detention during high school. I have no idea how I got away with this. I was crafty or something. Either that or no one really checked because, like, I think at minimum, I had, like, 3 detentions to serve by the end of, like, my high school junior year. Never went in for a single one of them. No one told me to do, like, anything regarding detention. I just sort of went in, did my schoolwork, and left. No one tried to stop me or anything, so yeah, apparently they never, like, paid attention to that stuff at all. So I never went to detention, which is nice because, I mean, I hated being in school longer than I needed to be because at that point, like I said, I was really, really bored with high school since it was just, like, so easy to me. So getting in trouble was probably my way of just, like, finding things to do to make things more entertaining, which is not a good idea. Like, don't take after me because I did a lot of stupid things in high school that I really wish I didn't end up doing, but whatever. What are you gonna do? You live and you learn. Anyways, though, we are almost done with this temple. Like, we're only 1 room away from the boss, and believe it or not, well, we can completely skip over this room because we already have enough keys to unlock this door, and it's not like one of those doors that just remains sealed unless you kill all the enemies. So, real quick, before you fight this boss, take out the whistle that you got from this temple and use it. That will sort of play the song from Mario 3 and make the boss shrink. Now, just 2 hits from the magical sword, and he is dead. So yeah, one of the easiest bosses if you know that little trick. And now you got the Triforce, and that's going to do it for the level 5 temple. Hooray! Not bad at all. Otherwise, what the whistle does is it allows you to teleport to a separate temple that you already completed, so not that useful. Anyways, though, I think that's going to do it for this video. So if you guys enjoyed this part of like rating, would be greatly appreciated. If you want to see more, consider subscribing. But once again, guys, my name is Matt. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll catch you in the next one.